NTV Wild Talk in partnership with the Kenya Wildlife Service and Wildlife Direct.
Hello and welcome to NTV Wild Talk with me, Smriti Vidyarthi. Today we're coming to you from Watamu in the county of Kilifi. This episode has been made possible thanks to Safari Link that flew us over here and also to Medina Palms Hotel that's accommodating us. Now there is so much to learn, explore and discover in this little gem, and to help us do that I'm joined by Ntindi Kasim. She is the Kenya Wildlife Service Deputy Warden at the Watamu Marine National Park and Reserve, and she joins me now. Great to see you.
Good morning.
Salute to you. Good morning.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Pleasure to have you on NTV Wild Talk. Now, Ntindi, this is the first time that NTV Wild Talk is coming to the coast. It's a new experience for us, and of course an awesome experience it will be for our viewers. There is so much to discover. Tell us, what can we expect on this trip?
We are going to the Marine Reserve first, see the mangrove cover which we have as an attraction, and see the local community swinging mangrove boardwalk which is within the Marine Reserve. After we go to the Marine Mangrove Boardwalk, we go to the coral garden, do some snorkeling, see the different types of corals, see the different types of fish, enjoy ourselves, cool ourselves.
Yes, lots planned, of course. Watamu does have its challenges like any other area does, but the KWS and the community are all working to address those challenges, and there are successes. So let's make a move. It is scorching here, but we are going to get in the water. We need to get into our appropriate gear, so come with us. Ntindi, this is absolutely beautiful. Where are we exactly?
We are now at Short Beach, which is within Watamu Marine National Park.
I mean, when you just look around, the colors of the ocean are incredible. The sand is so white and powdery. It really, really is a special gem of a place. So this is the marine park, and that is a protected area.
Yeah, we are now in the marine park, and this is a protected area. It's a no-take zone, but on the lower side, we have the marine reserve.
Okay.
We have a boundary which borders the park and reserve where we allow some sustainable use.
All right, I can't wait to get into the water. We're taking a boat ride, as you said, to one of the community projects, so let's get on with it.
Welcome. Now we are heading to the Mida Creek where we have the mangrove boardwalk.
Okay, excellent. And I think it's time that I actually take my slippers off because I'm dipping into this beautiful white sand. There we go. Okay, and there's the KWS boat that's going to take us out.
Yeah.
And who's this?
Meet my colleague, Sergeant Hassan. He is a dive master. He'll be with us.
Oh, excellent. Good. Good to meet you. A dive master. I look forward to learning about what that is all about.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get on it. And actually, my crew is also here with us. NTV Wild crew, come along
Welcome.
with us. All right, let's get on board. And of course, Fidel behind the camera. We can't leave you behind. You have your phone?
And action.
We are all set and ready, life jackets on, heading out into the open sea, our coxswain, and that, by the way, is a operator of a small boat. Are we ready?
Ready.
Sawa sawa, let's
Balance
go.
the boat.
Okay.
And we're ready to go.
Sawa. So we sit here?
Yeah.
All right. So we've just stopped at Mida Creek, which is within the National Reserve. Most of it is behind us, but we've now channeled and come out into a canal, and it is an absolutely stunning area, so serene, So peaceful. You can hear birds tweeting in the background, and also we are surrounded by incredible mangroves, which is a type of tree, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about where we are, first of all.
We are within the Marine National Reserve of Watamu, which is mostly covered by mangrove cover. We are at a channel where we have mangrove cover, which is very important for us in terms of breeding ground. It's a breeding ground both for fisheries and birds. Within the marine reserve where we have the mangroves, it harbors about 55% of the wetlands birds which are found within the wetland areas. So Watamu is known as important bird area because we have some birds coming in, both migratory and resident birds coming for roosting. So we also have different types. Mostly at the creek we have about 7 which are found, and it's an attraction to tourists. It is important because it is a nesting ground for the birds, different types of birds, and we have also crabs residing in the mangroves. It also protects our shoreline from erosion.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so-
really these beautiful trees aren't just here for show, they really do play an important role. And we'll find out more about that in just a moment. But tell me first, what are some of the key challenges that this area in Watamu faces?
Overfishing, because most of the locals have overdependence on the marine resource which we are conserving. So we have so many people utilizing the resource, and the resource is
It's
not
depleting,
that,
yeah.
it's depleting. The reserve covers about 32 kilometers square, which is a small area for more people to utilize it. And we have some people also looking for baits. As they look for baits, they dig along the shoreline where we have mangroves. They cut the roots of mangroves. Some of
Okay.
the mangroves end up dying.
Yeah.
We have issues of people, some of the people using illegal fishing gears, like the spear guns. So we do a lot of patrols to control, but still we have that challenge facing us. We have the issue of global warming, where we have some issues of rise in sea level. So some of the areas where we were having mangroves currently are degraded, but we do a lot in terms of collaborating with the community people in planting some new seedlings where the areas are degraded.
Right, and we will of course meet some of those community members who are working to help conserve the environment, which really of course does need to be conserved. This is such a precious area, but there are cases where it is under threat to an extent. Now this area behind us, it is open to the public, isn't it?
Yeah, we allow sustainable use within the reserve, but we control the fishing gears which they use. That's why we say that we have some issues of some using illegal gears. So we do patrols to control the gears which they use. But in the reserve, we allow the local people to do some sustainable use to help them in their daily livelihoods.
And that's like fishing, for
Yeah,
example.
that's like fishing. We allow also community people to do some tourism activities within the marine reserve, like canoeing.
Okay.
At the back, you can see we have some canoes there. They're for
Yes.
the community people.
All right.
They hire to the tourists who are coming in at the picnic area at Sudi.
Oh, and this behind us is
we
a
have
picnic
a picnic
site?
area behind where people do come for picnic lunches. So after lunches, the community people hire their canoes to
And
the
out they
tourists,
go.
and they take them along the channels, view the wonderful mangroves
Yeah.
and the different types of birds which we have.
All right, it really is a very, very special place. If you haven't come, you need to. But for now, let's head on because there's so much more to see in this gem that is Watamu. Coxswain, are we ready?
Ready?
Sawa, let's go.
Meet Alex.
All right, hi Alex,
Hi.
good to see you.
Me too.
Now, we're still here at Meadow Creek, but what is your role? What do you do here?
All right, this is a community project with its assets. Assets is a Arabuko Schools and Ecotourism Scheme. It's an initiative of Aroche Kenya, which is targeting school kids and conservation. Therefore, 100% of the income from here goes to school kids from the community, and also, we're targeting those joining secondary school.
Oh,
and apart
wow.
from that, we support conservation.
All right,
Yeah,
excellent.
thank you.
Okay, well, so much to look forward to. I guess you're going to head off and show us more about this community project.
Exactly.
Sawa.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
lead
you're
the way.
welcome.
I might just fall.
Oh no. Now we are almost.
Oh Lord, everyone else did it. I should.
Pole. Now we are almost the middle of the boardwalk. You've also to be careful here. Pole. It's friction. Yeah.
How was that? A little bit nerve-wracking. Not so bad. So we've just finished a very wobbly, wonky walk along this incredible boardwalk, and it is actually made out of mangroves.
Exactly,
yeah,
mangroves.
And mangroves, as we established, is a type of tree, and we are surrounded by them. Alex, so that was a pretty fun walk, but now we are really surrounded by a really incredible environment. Tell us where we are and what is surrounding us.
This is Meadow Creek, and okay, it's under Kenya Wildlife Service of which the creek covers an area of 32 kilometers square, consisting of mud, sand floods, and deep water channels, framed with one of the most productive mangrove systems in the world.
Wow.
So by visiting Meadow Creek, you are likely to see mangroves. We also have about 100 species of birds. And most of the birds we have are migrants. They come here from Europe and also from Asia, which they normally migrate by September they're here. And April, most of them go back to Europe to breed.
And they're here thanks to the mangroves. So if we didn't have them, the birds wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you are right. They
Oh,
come
wow.
because of the mangroves. So the mangroves play a very important role towards the ecosystem.
And how many species of mangroves do we have here in Kenya?
Okay, within Kenya there are eight species of mangroves. Within East Africa there are 9 species, and here in Meadow Creek we have 8 species. And as you walk around, you'll be seeing them from their different zones, because they normally grow within 3 different zones.
So explain that to us. Where do they grow? What are the different zones?
Within the creek there are 3 zones. The first is called land margin, and the mangroves you're likely to see there are the white mangroves. These are now the white mangroves.
Oh, behind us.
Exactly.
And you can actually see that they do have a little sort of few specks of white. They are lighter in colour.
Yeah.
All right, so further away, those are the white ones. Okay, and then just here behind us, what are these? Because you can see they look rather different.
Yeah, this is a different type of species. We are right now within the middle zone, and these are now the red mangroves. They're also called Rhizophora mucronata. That's the botanical names.
Okay.
You can see they also have different types of roots.
Yeah.
The roots come out of the mud. They have prop roots. You see the roots? They come out of the mud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, they really are big, big roots. And then what's interesting is if we compare these roots to the one of the white mangroves, those little things sticking out from the sand, those are actually roots of the white mangrove.
Yeah. For the white mangrove, they have the pencil-like things. We call the pneumatophores. So within the land margin, it's normally flooded twice a month. And because this is always wet, so the white mangroves cannot breathe. That's why they have then the pneumatophores going upwards to make them breathe easily.
That is
nicely.
amazing. And then what about the third species? Describe that to us.
The third species is called Soneratia alba.
Okay.
They are mostly found within the sea margin, because the way they are growing, they've always to be where there is the sea water.
And we actually came across a lot of those on our way here whilst we were on the boat.
Yeah.
And what are the importance of mangroves? Why are they critical to the ecosystem?
They act as a filter for the creek. What I mean is during rain season, water from mainland drains in the creek, and by the time it comes in with sand, sediment, and silt. So if this is by chance taken to where the coral reefs are, they automatically die because of the silt and sediment from the fresh water. But here, because we have the mangroves, they act as a filter for the creek.
Right.
So the sand, sediment, and silt is being trapped by the mangrove roots, therefore assisting the corals not to be destroyed.
Wow, so you can even imagine if there was something like a tsunami, for example,
Yeah.
the mangroves would actually protect the people inland because
Yeah.
it would help stop the water from coming right through. Is that right?
Yeah, you are right. In fact, during the time of tsunami, there was not a lot of effect here because of the mangroves, because they act as a barrier for the for the waves, so they can't do a lot of damage within the mangroves.
That is incredible. And are mangroves under threat?
Yeah, because a long time ago, the community used to snake in the forest, exploiting the forest due to the poverty level here. They were cutting trees to sell. I mean, apart from that, they were also using the mangroves to construct houses.
Really?
That's why then we came up with the idea of starting a project to support the community and also educate them about conservation. So we are working closely with Kenya Wildlife Service and Kenya Forest Service to make sure that this is the mangroves are being conserved.
So really you are conserving the mangroves, which play a huge role, but you're also helping the community. So tell us, what role does the community play?
We have our mangrove nurseries to plant where they were exploited. I mean, apart from that, we also do beach cleaning towards the creek almost twice a week, together with the community, to make sure that the mangroves are always they're always not destroyed.
Right.
Yeah, that's part of the things we're doing here with the community. So we are putting new mangroves and making sure that we are also monitoring the mangroves to make sure that they're always
Okay,
good
that they're
condition.
always flourishing and growing well. This is such a healthy ecosystem. Tell us, how can one identify a mangrove? Because someone might be looking at this thinking, oh, that's a tree, but not realizing that, hey, this is a mangrove and it really is important.
Right. The easiest way to differentiate mangroves is simply by looking at the roots, leaves, seeds, and flowers, because they have different adaptations. So as you walk, you'll be seeing them like the red mangroves have prop roots. You can see they have prop roots.
Yes,
The white
yes.
mangroves have pencil-like roots. They
Yeah.
have sticks going upwards.
Yeah.
Another thing about the red mangroves, they also have cable roots. The cable roots are roots, they come from the branches going downwards. They use the cable roots for breathing. And as we walk further, we'll be seeing the mangrove. They also have, we'll be seeing the mangrove, they have other different adaptations. Yeah.
Okay, and what can people living in the area or people visiting, how can they contribute to the protection of mangroves and the coastal area?
They can contribute by taking part in conservation, making sure that they're always involved in conservation. That's why sometimes we go to the community, we do advocacy and also educate them. Sometimes we also give them seedlings to plant within the community living within closer to the mangroves, give them seedlings. Yeah,
All right, so is the mangrove population thriving now thanks to this community work?
Yeah, we are trying, and we're thankful because at least now we're seeing changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because many years ago there was a lot of distraction, but as for now, since they're benefiting from the mangroves, they know why they have to take part in conserving the forest.
All right, well, keep up the great work, Alex.
you,
Keep
thank
encouraging the community, because really community and conservation go hand in hand. Thank you very much for joining us on NTV Wild Talk.
Thank you.
All right, it is time for a quick break right here on NTV Wild Talk, coming to you from Watamu. We are currently in the Mida Creek. Lots more to explore when we come back. And remember, this episode has been made possible thanks to Safari Link Aviation that flew us down here, and also to Medina Palms Hotel that are accommodating us. Welcome back to NTV Wild Talk with me, Smriti Vidyarthi. Right now, coming to you from the middle of the incredible Indian Ocean here in Watamu. Now remember, this episode has been made possible thanks to Safari Link Aviation that flew us down here, and also to Medina Palms that are accommodating us. Now with me on board is Peter Musembi. He is a marine researcher with Aroshe, Kenya. Great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Smriti.
Now, Peter, what exactly does a marine researcher do? It sounds pretty cool, especially if it has anything to do with this amazing water around here.
Absolutely, it's something incredible everybody will love to do. And what we do is mainly just studying the ocean, see what the different components of the ocean are working and how these are helping both in terms of ecosystem balance as well as livelihood for people living around this area.
And why do you do it? Why would you have chosen to become a researcher of the marine life?
One, it's because I think the ocean has been much neglected for a long time. People don't understand how incredible and how resourceful the ocean is. And we still have very few marine researchers who are trying to understand how this valuable resource we have and linking this with what people are doing and how that is affecting both the people's life as well as the ecosystem of the ocean.
All right, looking really forward to learning so much more, because beneath us it's an incredibly just different world altogether, full of coral and fish. So let's get to it. But before we jump in, I am about to find out more about how exactly to go about snorkeling. So in order for us to learn more about marine life, we certainly need to get down into the water, into the ocean, and we're going to do that by snorkeling. With me now is Sergeant Hassan of KWS. Sergeant, good to see you again. You are a dive master. What exactly does that mean?
Well, a dive master actually is like an assistant instructor, whereby he is supposed to help an instructor while having students diving, especially the beginners like the open water divers or advanced open water divers.
All right, so you spend a lot of your time in the water, no doubt. We are not exactly diving today. We're not going deep down, but we are going to snorkel, and it is a little bit rocky. But here there's a lot of gear. For someone who has never snorkeled before, I have, what should they expect?
You begin with the mask. You have to make sure that you clean your mask. When it's clean, that it will make you to be able to see underwater. And again, you have to get your snorkel. This one helps you on the surface while breathing. And again, you have to get your fins. These are the fins.
Flippers, they help you swim, right?
Yeah, this actually helps you, moving you either backwards or forward, depending on your size.
And of course you've got to breathe pretty carefully, but it is quite an art, but I'm sure we'll get it right. Okay, looking forward to it, Sergeant, excited about it, but what must someone be careful and cautious about? Because there is coral and plenty of marine life, of course, in the ocean.
In that essence, when you are diving or when you are snorkeling, because this is a marine protected area, you have to make sure that you don't stand on corals, because corals actually are fragile because they take a long time to grow. At the same time, there are some organisms which are really dangerous. So most of the time we encourage visitors coming here doing snorkeling to just to see but not to touch anything.
Okay, all right, we will follow those instructions. It is very, very critical. And guess what? You know, I just found out today that we actually have a fish in this Indian Ocean that is just like Nemo, and also Dory from Finding Nemo. So let's see if we actually do find Nemo. Let's get ready and jump in.
Thank you.
Please don't miss a little bit. This is like why we
Just put on the life jacket and
All right, I'm all set. I've got my goggles on, I've got my snorkels and my flippers. Everybody else is already in the amazing water, and I can't wait to get in and see what's under there. Follow me. Okay. So we have just gotten off that boat, we've dried off a little bit, and that snorkeling adventure was pretty amazing. I mean, Peter, we saw some fantastic fish, beautifully bright colors, some coral as well, but I almost feel that I actually expected to see a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. I think what we saw there is not a very good coral reef. And we had less fish, we had less colorful corals, and less coral in terms of numbers. And that is not what you want in a coral reef. So normally a coral reef will have a lot of coral cover because they are the building blocks of the reef. So they have a lot of them and a lot of colors. Yeah, but what we saw is there's what is called phase shift. That is when a coral bleach and then they die, there's a takeover of macroalgae. So algae grow on top of the corals, and the brownish and green things we are seeing, that is what is called phase shift, from coral dominated to macroalgae dominated.
And of course, for our viewers who don't perhaps even know what coral is, that is the big, almost rock-like features underwater that we saw.
Yeah, that is coral, and yeah, it looks just like a rock, but it's not a rock. It's actually a living animal, and there's a symbiosis between an animal called a polyp and then a green algae, a tiny macroalgae. So they live in symbiosis. The algae produces food for the corals, and the coral grows. They secrete calcium carbonates. That is what builds coral reefs.
So why is the coral and the ocean in the state that it is in at the moment?
Yeah, there are a lot of things, but the main thing that is really affecting oceans now throughout the world, and especially coral reef, is climate change. There's especially increasing sea surface temperature. Sea surface temperature is not very conducive for corals because scientifically they say that corals grow near their thermal limit. That means they're just near the most high temperature they can tolerate. So when temperatures increase just by a degree or two, then there is the breakdown of the symbiosis between algae and the polyp.
Okay, and how is this having an impact then overall on marine life, on tourism, on lives of the community and the ecosystem as a whole?
Yeah, coral reefs are one of the most incredible and very important coastal ecosystem, and this is in terms of biodiversity. Over 25% of the marine species are found within coral reefs, and when the corals are the main building blocks and the main homes for this biodiversity. So when we have such kind of bleaching and eventually mortality or the coral dying, then we have all these species that depend on the corals just moving away. So we have sometimes called local extinction. That means some species that are here, they just disappear completely.
And that would just be tragic, because it would just have a knock-on effect, and out here in the ocean we wouldn't even see any fish. But speaking of the fish, Peter, what are some of the species that we saw? I tried looking for Nemo, but I didn't find him, and Dory, but we saw some beautiful fish nonetheless.
Yeah, we saw some beautiful fish. There's the blue and yellow one. I think you saw that. That is a powder blue sturgeon. And there was a lot of sturgeons and parrotfish. These are herbivores that are very important to maintain the balance between the algae that can overgrow corals and other kind of herbivores. And I think at some stage we also saw a lot of sea urchins that were just crowding of an area of seagrass.
Yeah.
So those are not very good when there are many of them. Same thing, sea urchin can be herbivores, that means keeping the balance, but when they are a lot, they then tip the balance off. So the sea urchins are mostly, they feed on the grass like the one we saw. They can graze a whole part of a seagrass, and that is not good for them.
Right, so
Yeah.
what then needs to be done to protect such areas?
Yeah, firstly, we are out of the situation with the climate change, because we can't do a lot. Of course, we can do globally, but at
Yeah.
local scale, we can't do a lot.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is to help coral reefs recover after disturbance such as climate change. And that is making sure that we keep off local disturbances such as overfishing, such as pollution, and establishing protected area like this one. These are very good to help corals recover, so that in case of high temperatures and corals die, then we'll have the protected area will act as a refuge here. They will get seeds, get them to the impacted area, and the system will recover.
Peter, what is it as a marine researcher that you're doing to help the situation?
One is I'm currently a master's student at a local university, and I want to understand what is the role of marine protected area in restoring coral reefs. Because corals grow very slowly. They grow less than some less than a centimeter a year. So yeah, so we need some time to look at what is the growth of these corals and how disturbance such as coral bleaching are causing to the growth rate and to the overall health of the ecosystem.
All right, well, that is certainly what we hope for, because this is a gem. It is such an incredible place. The Indian Ocean here in Watamu, it really is special. Thank you, Peter, so much for joining us on NTV Wild Talk.
Thank you, my pleasure.
So it's unfortunately time to end our day here in Watamu. It's really been a fantastic experience discovering the gem that is Watamu, the incredible ocean, the beaches, and everything that comes with it. Ntindi, just briefly though, what are your hopes for the future of this region?
My hopes for the future of the marine protected area is that we'll be having more people know about the marine resources which we have in Kenya generally, and the importance of conserving the marine resources which we have, both in terms of education, community livelihood, and as a heritage for the country of Kenya.
How much of a challenge is it, and how rewarding is it protecting this beautiful marine life?
The challenge which we have is that you have to be on 24/7, because for the patrols and monitoring of the protected area, mostly we do it on tidal times. When it's low tide, it's when we have a lot of activities taking place and you have to go out, whether it's day or night. So you have to be dedicated to your work. Ensure that you are always reachable, because we have some people, even the other stakeholders, reporting on some issues on the park, like maybe if there's an illegal activity taking place at a certain point. So you have to be dedicated to conservation of the marine resource for one to succeed.
All right, and how rewarding is it for you personally?
It is rewarding because as a Kenyan, I feel good conserving our national heritage, which is the marine protected area, for the future generation. And as a Kenya Wildlife Service officer, making sure that the marine protected area is protected and we get some livelihood out of it as Kenyans, through the community people participating in tourism activities, and also creating employment, direct and indirect, to the communities and the ones who are already employed by the organization.
So you're not stopping anytime soon?
No, I'm not stopping anytime soon.
Okay.
Maybe till I retire.
All right.
Because I need to mentor some who are coming on board. And I would also like to urge people to come to Watamu.
Yes,
Visit
most
Watamu
definitely.
Marine Park. Because they help us in terms of conservation by paying the conservation fees at the gates.
How much is the fee?
For citizens, it's 130. For
Shillings.
adults, yeah.
That's it?
130 Kenya shillings for Kenya citizens. And for a
Really?
child, Kenya citizen, 125.
There is no
Yeah.
excuse. There is no
So,
excuse.
We welcome them all to
All right.
come and also urge other stakeholders to report to us any illegal activity
Yeah.
which they may be seeing taking place so that they can help us, because we can't be everywhere all the time.
Of course.
So that we can take action
Okay.
and ensure that we protect our marine resource. And for those ones who are visiting the marine protected area, I would like to urge them to make sure that they do not throw litter when they visit the marine protected area, because litter may end up even affecting the marine
Yeah.
creatures which we are protecting
Of
here.
course. All right, Ntindi,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us on NTV
Thank you
Wild Talk.
too.
It's been a pleasure. Clearly, a lot of work is being done, but as always, more can be done, and you can help in your way too. All right, from that, it is now time to shift focus on NTV Wild Talk. Here is our wild guess question. What features are looked at to differentiate one mangrove species from another? What features are looked at to differentiate one mangrove species from another? To participate, just like the NTV Wild Facebook page. Only answers posted on the timeline post that's associated with this question will be considered. The first person to answer correctly wins 2 nights for 2 at the incredible Medina Palms Hotel in Watamu. The winner also gets free entry for 4 people and a vehicle to any national park of their choice, courtesy of KWS, 1 bottle of wine, courtesy of Wines of the World, and a gift hamper, courtesy of Wildlife Direct. Terms and conditions apply. Last week's lucky winner was Lois Ondeche. And now, here is our Wild Pick segment. This is a photo of John Wanyoike at the Kenya Birds of Prey Trust in Naivasha. John was about to hold this incredible bird of prey in this photo and says he was working there as an intern. And then at the waterfall in Keretia Forest near the Aberdares, this is Samuel Kimani. He was having fun and introducing friends to the area. Samuel says it's a great environment and a lovely place to visit. In Hala Park in Mombasa, this is Charles Gatuki, who was posing with this tortoise, and Charles says he believes in cultural tourism. Cindy Shiro was at Trout Valley in Nyeri. She was simply enjoying the serene environment and says, "I love nature." And then Zakaria Waithaka was in Lake Bogoria National Reserve. He was taking photos of this tortoise, and Zakaria is an animal health student who says he loves nature and that animals are part of us and should be safeguarded. If you want your photo showcased on our Wild Pick segment, just like our NTV Wild Facebook page and send a photo that shows you celebrating nature via private message. Be sure to give us your name, tell us where the photo was taken, what you were doing and why. And now here's what's coming up on the NTV Wild documentary series on Saturday night.
If you want to see lions or leopards or cheetahs, there's no doubt about it, the Masai Mara in Kenya is definitely the best place on earth.
My goodness, look at the size of his gut.
Well, for a start, it's the worst drought in living memory. I've never seen anything like it. And that's going to make life really tough for most of the animals. But for our big cats, it's going to be a feast. I can't remember the last time I saw something like this.
Come to Watamu. What more can I say? Sun, sand and sea. It is just an incredibly special place that you need to discover for yourself. That's it on NTV Wild Talk with me, Smriti Vidyarthi. We thank Safari Link Aviation for flying us down here and also Medina Palms Hotel for accommodating us. We'll see you again next Tuesday at 10 p.m. If you want to visit Watamu, the marine park is open all year round. Watamu is 120 kilometers north of Mombasa and 28 kilometers south of Malindi by road, or you can fly into Malindi airstrip or use Safari Link and fly to Vipingo airstrip. At the marine park, you can see turtles, snorkel at the coral gardens, visit the Mida Creek, bird life and so much more. It'll only cost you 130 shillings or 125 shillings for a child. There are so many places to stay in Malindi and Watamu, from basic properties to more luxurious ones like the Medina Palms Hotel.
No problem.
NTV Wild Talk in partnership with the Kenya Wildlife Service and Wildlife Direct.